I'm Jim. This is Geoff. This is Malissa. And I sold them their first house here. We're in the house now. And we're going to talk about the experience from their perspective. And from mine too. And they were first-time home buyers. So tell me what it was like.
Well, at first it was kind of scary. I was kind of nervous and I didn't know if we could afford it, but Geoff thought it would be great and that we could do it. And we sat down and talked to Jim and asked him a bunch about finances and different things like that and what the process would entail. And after meeting and talking with him, felt comfortable to sort of pursue it and just see what was out there.
Yeah, I think I was on board a little bit before Melissa was, but I approached Jim first and got Melissa on board as well. And Jim was really great at kind of easing us into it without any pressure, and was able to still make us feel comfortable because it is so much of a scary new process that we have never done before.
Okay. During the process, we made an offer on a house that you both really liked, and even in this market, there were 6 offers. We were the 4th one. We didn't get the house. Talk about that.
Well, Melissa and I both, we knew, when we walked into this house, at least we thought we knew, that this was the house. Really excited. We knew that there was, when we were ready to make an offer on it, we knew that there were, like Jim said, several other offers. We put an offer significantly over the asking price because it was a bank owned. It was in great shape. We thought for sure, we're like, gosh, how can they pass this one up? It's so far over. This is a no-brainer. We've got to nail this thing. I remember when Jim told us that we didn't get the house. I know I was really upset. I know Melissa was visibly upset. But it was great. Still, even though we weren't able to get that house, what we thought was our dream home, we were able to regroup. Jim was still really good at, kind of being even keel and saying, well, clearly that wasn't the one, and easing us back out there, pretty much telling us, fall off the horse, you got to get back up and ride it again. So we went back out and searched, and thankfully so, we found this one, which is, I think, much better.
It is a better house.
Yeah.
It's a better house. And the terms were better too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is a brand new house here, by the way.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, kind of going along with this, Geoff had certain things that he wanted in the house, and I had certain things that I was looking for in the house. And, there were houses prior to that house that I loved, but Geoff didn't like them for one reason or the other, or ones that he loved, and I didn't like it for one reason or the other. And so when we found that house, we thought, oh, we're never going to find any other better house that fits both of our needs. This is great. And so I was kind of devastated because I thought, oh, we're never going to find another house that has both of the things that we all want, or meets both of our needs. But then we ended up finding this house, just after that, and it meets both of our needs, and we love it, and yeah, couldn't ask for anything else.
There was a day when I came over to pick you up to go look, and I think I texted you and said I was down in the parking lot, and you were a little late. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we were about 45 minutes late. We ended up texting Jim and saying, hey, can you give us a few minutes? We were actually in the middle of an argument. Both of us kind of didn't even want to go look at houses at that point because we were just sort of frustrated with one another, just about other stuff. But it was great because when we got there, Jim was so patient, and we were like, oh, we're so sorry. And he's like, no, it's okay. Your relationship is the first priority. Just made us feel really comfortable, was really patient with us, and just took us out, and it ended up being a good experience going out to looking at more houses and stuff. So it was great to have him not only support us in the buying process, but also just helping us realize that, our relationship is the most important thing. It comes first.
Comes first, for
yeah.
sure.
It was bad enough where, I didn't even want to be around Melissa, and I'm pretty sure Melissa didn't want to be around me. But we knew Jim was waiting. I felt horrible. I know Melissa felt bad that he had been waiting, so we both kind of, sitting as far apart from each other in the car as possible. Went out and searched again, and when trying to describe, how he was, using adjectives or whatnot, I don't know. It's borderline therapeutic for us, actually. I think we came out of there better than when we went in. I think after Jim saw that, okay, I'm going to tread lightly here. We were able to sit there, and it kind of forced us back together. And the whole process is so trying in the first place.
It's stressful.
Oh yeah.
It is stressful.
That was probably the peak of our stress right there. Was that day. But yeah, Jim was great, and just kind of being able to be that even keel person that could help us still get what we wanted to do accomplished. And like I said, kind of borderline therapeutic, counselor almost.
Good, thank you. I had forgotten until we were exchanging emails about the inspection and how that played out, and how we had to kind of struggle with a lot, actually, with the site agent. So how about talking about that?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I really liked about having Jim be our agent was he's really good about the paperwork, wants to have, every I dotted and T crossed, and the agent for the site said, oh, well, we don't fill out inspection responses. And Jim said, well, we want something in writing. And they kind of resisted again, and basically he just worked it out, so we ended up getting their response to the inspection in writing, which was really great, just to have all the paperwork for our whole transaction. Everything was organized, and everything was just put together. And so that was one thing I really liked about him, was just how detail-oriented he is, and just really diligent about making sure all the paperwork is done correctly and everything. So. And
we got everything on the inspection, too.
We did,
yep.
We did, yeah.
I don't think they would have done it without the form.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have done it. They would have. They were resisting and saying.
I know for a fact when I was doing our walkthrough, Melissa wasn't able to go to this portion of it, so I took the day off from work and went through our walkthrough with the builder, and he flat out told me to my face, he's like, I can't believe we're doing this. So I think a lot of that attention to detail. With the paperwork and
advocating,
absolutely was, it really advantageous to us. I think that's something that Jim brings to the table. That that's one of his strengths that I don't think a lot of other agents can do or can say.
That, in retrospect, for me, that part was kind of funny, because I knew they weren't going to do it. I thought, you're telling me verbally you're going to do it, but I know you're not, and so. I'm just going to stay with it until I get you to put it on the form that you're going to do these things. We're going to stay with it, and if it takes 3 or 4 days, we're going to stay with it. So I felt good about that too, but I'd forgotten about that. So, if you were talking to, did you want to say something else about that? Okay. If you were talking to friends or family, or just out of the blue, say 6 months or a year had passed, and you'd been here a while, and I had talked to you for a while, but somebody said, "Oh, thinking about buying a house," what would you say?
You got to go see my friend Jim. No, I'd kind of, I'd warn them that, this is not. I was a runner. This is not a 100-meter dash here. This is a marathon. So when you're doing that, you need a good support team. Regardless, just someone you can trust. I think Jim is certainly is trustworthy. I'd get them prepared. Not only is it going to be a long journey, but like we kind of spoke about earlier, it's emotionally draining as well.
Yeah, it is.
Melissa?
But the other big thing is that it is exciting. I mean, I know I'm a pretty
That's a good
emotional
point.
person in general, so I had a few moments of being emotional during the process, but overall it was exciting. There were different times we would go into houses and I would get so excited about it, and and then he would say he didn't like something about it, and then and then we'd be like, okay, well, let's look on. And then when we found this house, it was awesome. We were both so excited, and when we heard back, when we put in our offer and heard back from the seller that our offer was accepted, I mean, that was so exciting. And just to even all the way through till we got the keys, and Jim came and brought us our keys or met us, and we opened the door for the first time and came in and ran through the house and slept on the living room floor the first night. On an air mattress and everything. It is an exciting process, and even being in it now, a few months in the house, it's still exciting. I still come home and I'm like, oh, I love our house, and I can't believe we have such a nice house. So it is really exciting too. So
One of my favorite small memories was when your parents came over. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I love showing homes to moms and dads when young people are excited. So that was good. But when you pulled up and parked your car and said, I parked my car in front of my house. This is my house. My house. I love that. That was great.
Well, I mean, this is both of our first home purchase. Being a renter for, all of our lives, or living on our parents' house. It's cool to be like,
This is mine.
Right.
well, and I think it was really cool how you did bring, did have an evening where both sets of parents could come over and look at the house, and that was just neat. It was something you didn't have to do, but you went out of your way. My parents had been really skeptical about us buying a house and thinking, gosh, we're young, and can we afford it? And when they came, and Jim kind of helped talk to them a little bit about the house and whatnot. They loved the house, and by the end of it, they were really excited for us. And so I think that was just another cool thing that you did that most other agents wouldn't do, but you did it, and that was great.
Well, another thing that I think is huge, not only to you when you're buying, is communication, and not only with if you've got a partner or spouse that you're purchasing with, but really with Jim. That's extremely important. Melissa and I we were just, when we were talking about this session, we were talking about when we were looking at this one house where both of our perspectives were just completely different, and we just didn't communicate, on this one particular house.
At all.
And just polar opposite points of view, and once we could see, a few weeks later, we saw each other's points of view, and we're like, hello, of course. But no, you'll get that from Jim as well. He is very punctual. He will get back to you if you've got a question for him. Doesn't matter if you call and leave a message with him at 2 in the morning. 8 o'clock the next morning. I said leave a message. Or an email. There's several times where I was working late, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and shot an email off to Jim, and in my inbox the next morning at 7 o'clock, there it was, in detail, the answer. Or if it wasn't the answer, it was, I'm looking into this, I will get back to you today. So it was really cool too how, with our parents, communicating to them, doing those extra steps, I think was really, really cool.
From my perspective, I told you when I started with you, I'd take good care of you through the whole process and really work to do that. From my perspective, it was such a pleasure to work with both of you. And without teasing you about the days when things didn't go so well, it's funny, we can laugh about it. But all of that was fine. I was good with all of that. I knew in the end we'd find something that made you both happy, that you'd feel good about, that I was pleased and proud to sell you, and so it was my privilege to work with you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
You're welcome.